In this lecture, we're going to look at repeaters. Repeaters allow you to show your data in a very similar way to the way you display the data in a list view, but you use it in cases where a list view is not usable. It also gives you more control on how you display your data. We're going to go to Qt Creator and play with it. Okay, here we are in Qt Creator. We create our project as usual. It's going to be called Repeater Demo. Choose our Qt version. Choose our kit and finish. We want to say Repeater Demo here. And inside, we want to put a flickable component. And now you are wondering, why do we put a flickable if a repeater is like a list view? Well, a repeater doesn't have a built-in flickable like a list view does. That's because it wants to give you more control on how you display your data. So we are going to build the flicking in ourselves. So inside we want to put a column component, and this is how we are going to display our data from top to bottom. ID is going to be column. It's going to fill the parent, and we want to give it a spacing of 2. We want to let the flickable know how much content it has to display. So we're going to say content height. We have done this before, and it's going to be the height that is to be displayed in the column here. So we're going to say implicit height for this, but we also want it to fill the parent. So we go back to our column here. Inside we want to put a repeater, our component of interest in this lecture. A repeater is very similar to the list view in that it has a model property and a delegate property to control how each element in the repeater is going to look. So for example, if we say 10 for a model, we haven't done this. So let's do this so that you see. We can specify our model like this. You're going to see what is going to happen when we run this. And for our delegate, we want to put in an inline one, which is going to be a rectangle like this. Okay, so I just pasted this in to save you some typing time, but it's nothing you haven't seen before. We have a width, a height, a color. We have a text component inside the delegate. This is what it is going to look like. And we want to make it clickable. We also access the current item for the delegate using the model data role, which is the same thing we have seen in the list view and list model. If we run this application, we're going to see numbers displayed from 0 to 10, and the look of each item is controlled in the delegate here. This is really how you work with repeaters. You see that we don't have complicated stuff inside. And when we specify our model like this, you see that we have numbers from 0 to 9. So you can understand it as displaying the number of integer elements you are going to show starting from 0. So we go from 0 to 9, and total we have 10 elements. We can also comment this and put in the months like we have been doing in a few previous lectures. And if we run, it's also going to work the same. Okay, this is what we have. And this is really how you work with a repeater. Let's select it, hit F1, and go to see what the official documentation has to say about it. The repeater type is used to create a large number of similar items. Like other view types, a repeater has a model and a delegate. For each entry in the model, the delegate is instantiated in a context seeded with data from the model. So the data is coming from the model. A repeater is usually enclosed in a positioner type, such as row and column, to visually position the multiple delegate items created by the repeater. A repeater basically repeats data. We tell it 3, it's going to repeat numbers from 0 to 2, and we need to specify how these pieces of data are going to be displayed using the delegate. I hope this makes sense. Okay, you can also give it a model, and they give you tons and tons of things you can look at if you need to know more about this repeater component. And if we click, we're going to see whatever component we clicked at. Let's run again. You click on April, you see April. You click on September, you see September. Okay, this is all for this lecture. In the next one, we're going to see how you can dynamically add and remove data in your models. I'll see you there.